Home Alone actually has a pretty deep spiritual message behind it. Let me break it down. So the movie starts out by showing us the house in complete and utter chaos. All of the kids are running around. They're not listening to their parents. And matter of fact, they're all very rude.
Hi, hey, son, I just bought that.
Get anything done around
Big
here.
fella,
Makes me
hey,
sick.
little guy.
I mean, not only that, we also see our main character, Kevin, who blatantly disrespects his mom.
Kevin, out of the room.
Hang up the phone and make me, why don't you?
Now remember, the whole house is like this. All of the kids are rude and it's just complete chaos there. The parents really have no control and there's disrespect all around. It's almost like a house full of sin. Now what's crazy is we also see the burglar appearing as a cop.
Don't worry about your home. It's in good hands.
Not only is that clear as day, the devil appearing as an angel of light symbolism, but the house being in utter chaos is a symbolism because that's how the devil works. When there's no order, it's easy for him to show up, and that is the burglar. Then we see a man named Old Man Marley. Now he's going to become significant later on, but right now, take a look at what he's doing.
He walks up and down the streets every night, salting the sidewalks.
Him salting the earth is actually very important, right? So that's straight out of Matthew chapter 5, verse 13. It says, "Ye are the salt of the earth." So now later on, I'm going to connect why that's significant, but keep that in mind. Then Kevin makes a ginormous mess and he disrespects his mom again.
You're the only one acting up. Now get upstairs.
I am upstairs, dummy.
And then he also makes a wish that his family would disappear.
I wish they would all just disappear.
Now, Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21 says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." And of course, the wish is granted.
I made my family disappear.
Now, this answered wish actually mirrors how sometimes God will give us exactly what we insist on, not because he delights in it, but because it exposes the true conditions of the heart. See, Romans 1:24 says, "Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves." See, this movie shows us a truth that we hate. Sometimes God's judgment looks like getting exactly what we wanted.
What do you mean?
Guys, I'm eating junk and watching rubbish. You better come out and stop me.
See, at first, Kevin thinks it's a good thing. He eats all the junk food he wants, he makes all the mess he wants, and he stays up late, watches movies, does whatever. Nobody can tell him what to do. But then, the fear sets in.
Which way?
Go around back down the basement. Come on, follow me.
See, not only did he fear the bandits, but he also was afraid of the basement. Now, in the basement, there's a furnace in there that a movie shows off as very scary and eerie. And so it's almost like the fear of the basement is a fear of judgment. And we even see more fear when he runs into Old Man Marley in the store. Now take a look at Old Man Marley's hands. You see how they're pierced all the way through? See, this is the second clue that we get, just like the first clue where he was salting the earth, that Old Man Marley is the Christ figure for the movie. Now, once we get to the end, I promise you it'll make total sense. But see, this theme of fear is very important because in the beginning, Kevin wasn't fearful. He was actually very arrogant. The fear doesn't come until the separation. Just like in Genesis, when Adam and Eve, they became afraid once they bit of the fruit. But see, it's also that fear that led him to repentance. See, what's interesting is at first, he goes to Santa.
Please tell him that instead of presents this year, I just want my family back.
Then where does he go next? He goes to the church. He walks in, and who does he see there? Old Man Marley. Now, Old Man Marley, actually, he feared as well. But see, it's because of the church that he learned to trust Old Man Marley. And now, because he learned to trust him, that is where the repentance came from.
I've been kind of a pain lately. I said some things I shouldn't have. I really haven't been too good this year.
Proverbs chapter 9, verse 10 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom." And see, this is where Kevin's wisdom starts to kick in. So he goes home, he realizes he's the man of the house, he has courage, and he goes and sets the traps for the burglars.
We know that you're in there and that you're all alone.
Yeah, come on, kid, open up.
Now, meanwhile, his mom is very desperate to try and get home to him. And take a look at what she says.
If I have to sell my soul to the devil himself, I am going to get home to my son.
kind of funny that that's the route that she would go to, but not once did she consider prayer. I don't know. I thought that was just kind of interesting. Anyway, back at the house, Kevin is pretty successful with the traps, but he ends up getting pinned down. And take a look who saves him. See, what's interesting is Kevin doesn't save himself. Old Man Marley does. The man who was salting the earth, wounded in his hand, and was the reason that Kevin turned to repentance at the church. So what saved Kevin is ultimately grace. See, Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8 and 9 says, "For by grace ye are saved, through faith, that not of yourselves, it is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast." See, Kevin, his traps, and everything that he did to stop the burglars, that would be considered works. And it worked up to a point, but ultimately it was grace that was required in order for him to defeat the evil. So see, this parallels as clear as day. So next time somebody tries to tell you to watch Home Alone, make sure y'all watch it through this lens and teach them that it is by grace that ye are saved. Follow God on Film for more.